we're in a very different space, and it really goes back. I think I want to set up my answer by sort of recapping what we just heard. I was sitting here, I was laughing to myself as we were kind of going from David to Randy to the mayor here, and I was thinking, I guess now I'm supposed to disagree with all of this because I'm the conservative on the stage. I don't, but I got that out so everybody can relax now. All right.
How conservative are you really?
Very. Yeah. Very. Very. I'm old school, baby. I'm old school. Okay. But what we heard were three things that struck me: community, education, ideas, solutions, Randy, people, family, home. And those three components have become fractured, disconnected from one another. And it's reflected in our politics, where we cannot have a civil conversation within our community because we're now red and blue people. All right? We cannot deal with the programs and solutions that our teachers, who are at the apex, the tip of the spear of not currently but future generations. We cannot figure out how to have a common sense dialogue about solutions that may help our kids. And at home, we're perpetrating or perpetuating bad attitudes, bad lessons. I remember when I was lieutenant governor and we were doing a review of our educational system in Maryland, and I was sitting down. I spent a year because I wanted to see education through the eyes of a child. So I got up at 5 a.m. and stood at a bus stop, as a kindergartner, a fifth grader, a high schooler has to do every day to get on the bus to get to school. I had lunch at 10 a.m. Didn't have anything else to eat the rest of the day. And the teachers are saying, the reason we're having a problem in the classroom is because of this crazy schedule that we've been forced to deal with. No one was listening to the parents and the teachers. But then there were the parents at home who were jealous of their kids getting an education. Unbelievable. I could not fathom that a mom or a dad would be jealous of the fact that their child is getting an education because they had a bad experience in school. They wanted their kid to have a bad experience in school. So that's what we have, these forces working at home. When we get into the broader conversation about civility and respect, where does it come from? Where is it taught? Where is it learned? Where is it applied? It isn't. So we have as much responsibility for that as the institutions we're looking to, the elected officials that we are, applauding for their backflips. We are responsible for that. We, the people. Not him, the mayor. Not her, the head of teachers in America. Not him, the news guy, pundit, smart person. But we, the people. And we've lost our sense of responsibility to community, our systems, and our home. And so the civic discourse that we see reflected in our communities is what we're painting. Gangs work because there is a civic discipline there. There's respect. There's organization. There's structure. And we look at that and go, oh, that's all bad. You guys are doing bad things. They're doing bad things, but beneath that, there is, at a rudimentary level, something good happening. And trust. So, in answering your question about where we kind of go to next on this journey, a Donald Trump, just like a Bernie Sanders, are a reflection of us in many respects. So if you don't like them, you don't like us. If you don't like what they're saying, what they're doing, trust me, you know what's going on in your neighborhood and in your community. You know what the conversations are in quiet moments where, sensitive ears aren't allowed. And the conversation is raw about race. It's raw about, inequality. It's raw about communities of people. You know that, so don't pretend. All right? And that's because that's what we're doing. So if we want to have an honest conversation about race in America, let's have it. I'm ready. I've been ready for a long time. But I'm not finding a whole lot of partners out there. If we want to have an honest conversation about education in America, let's have it. I remember, just so you know, I had a sit down with the head of the teachers union in Maryland when I was lieutenant governor. And this was the best example of everything we're talking about. So we sat down, she was in my office, and I was in the process of proposing some reforms in education in Maryland. And so I presented them to her. I wanted her to have a heads up about what we were going to do and what we were looking at. So she sat down and she started to rip those proposals apart. She was going right and left, and it was all out of a political perspective. I'm a conservative Republican, proposing these kind of changes. Say you don't care, you don't know, and all of that stuff. Of course, my reaction was a political one to her. And I was like, okay, see, there you go. We can't get anything done because all you guys want to do is just you care about the union more than you care about the kids, yada, 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 right? That literally went on for 15 minutes. And it struck me in that moment, this is BS. Right. And I looked at her and I said, you know what? We can spend the next hour peeing on each other's shoes. I was a little bit more strong. Or we can actually focus on what we both have an interest in. And that is our kids. And lo and behold, that melted away all of the hostility, all of the red, blue BS. And she helped me craft a 30-point plan that we could get through the legislature that benefited teachers, that benefited parents, that benefited students. Because at the end of the day, that's what the goal was. And if we can all bring community and our institutions and our home into that space, I think we can begin to turn that corner on civil discourse.